What's going on, everybody? What is happening this Monday morning, February 19th, 2024? It is me, Chavez. I am back. You are back. We are back for another live stream, another Chavez player props show for you. Hope everybody's doing well today. Hope this live stream finds you in good spirits coming off a All-Star weekend. We'll get into the All-Star game and turds of the day here in a second, but we're inching closer and closer to the return of regular season NBA. Second half of the NBA season is a mere 3 days away, 4 days away. Do you count today? Monday to Tuesday, Tuesday to Wednesday, Wednesday to Thursday, 3? Or do you count Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 4? Regardless, we're closer. So that's a good thing. We're going to talk player props today. We can't talk player props for today in terms of NBA player props, but during Friday's last stream, which feels like a long time ago, a few days ago, but we talked about possible topics to bring up during this week in lieu of NBA games. So I thought we could actually focus on some second half props, some NBA season 2 props that are already on the board. We also have the Jokic promo that's still on the board, that 0.5 30-point game promo. So the next time he hits a 30-point game, you cash that one. So possible pairings with that. That's pretty much a taco. That's better than a taco. So we got that going on. We got Taco Tuesday tomorrow. So PrizePicks is setting us up nice to build a little bankroll going into the NBA season. Hopefully we don't throw it all away and give it right back to them. The purpose is to keep that money in our accounts as long as humanly possible. So there I am on the thumbnail again. No NBA player to talk about, no NBA player to feature today. So, but we are still talking NBA PrizePicks. Nothing changes today. And we can just roll right into our turds of the day. Well, we can even look at turds of the weekend since it was All-Star weekend. We didn't really have a lot going on Flex Friday. How did everybody's Flex Friday go? How did your picks turn out? How did your slips turn out? Did you profit? Are you still alive for the I don't even know what they're calling it on PrizePicks, but basically you win, you stay, you lose, you go home. Little tournament they're running on PrizePicks. Did you make it? Did you make it to the end? I think I did. I'm waiting on the Goblin to hit my email, but I believe I made it 7 straight days or 8 straight days, however long it was. So what is going on, ATM? Good morning to you. Encore, what's going on? Mr. DraftKings, good morning to you all. Not as many viewers on today. Honestly, didn't really expect a ton today, being that it is, I believe it's a holiday. President's Day. I know it's a holiday, but I believe it's a holiday where you're off work. So probably a lot of family stuff going on. People may be traveling to and from. So just the fact that I get a few viewers on today, talk some NBA player props, some season-long props. They even got Thursday props up on the board. So we can even take a look, super early look at the props. If you see anything you want to lock in, we can break it down and we can talk some value over on PrizePicks. So ATM says, I wish I was off work. Yeah. You know what? It's so funny because I remember after high school, you forget about certain holidays that you would get off, like just the 3-day weekends and things like that. Those were always really important to you when you were in school. And then as an adult, you know, if you can create your own schedule, you can kind of be off whenever you want, or you could take a sick day or whatever, a vacation day, and be off whenever you want. So like there's no need for a 3-day weekend to like come and go for you to have a day off. So I just totally forget about these days that are, considered, days off from school. Although where I live here in Austin, I can tell that there's something going on because there's just more people walking around. There's just more crowds. So I figure like, oh, I think there's a holiday on Monday. And I looked out the calendar and sure enough. So that's how I figure it out. But I don't even know. I don't even know what's considered a day off anymore because the schedules get so lax. Like kids are in school for like 100 days a year. maybe a little less than that with all the damn days off all the damn days off they have. So get me started on my old man rant. But what's going on, 6-0? Carrie, what is going on? Cutler, good morning. Mayo, what is going on? Says, thank God I'm off of work. There you go. There you go. Carrie says, I had a great week with my slips. Oh yeah, what was great about it? Did you stay alive for the PrizePicks tournament thing? And did you like hit some big wins? Let us know. Oh, 6-0, you're in Austin? That's dope. Yeah, I'm in Austin. I'm in the north side of Austin. So been here for a few we've been here for been here for a few years, me and my dog. So yeah, man. Encore Ruben said I fell flat. Those MMA plays, man. I didn't get a chance to play Volkanovski because by the time I looked, they were bumping it up, and I just stayed away from it. But the Robert Whittaker significant strikes cashed. A few of the esports plays that I think Damien talked about cashed. I think it was I don't know who recommended the hockey, the NHL plays. That very first one we talked about, the shots on goal, that cashed. But yeah. It's weird without the NBA. So we had a lot of other sports to consider that we weren't really used to playing. So I'm excited to have NBA back. I'm excited to be talking about it today. We'll talk about it over on PrizePicks. We'll use props.cash to break down anything that we can find. Hopefully we can find some value today. And if you see value on the board for the upcoming slates, we can lock that in. We also have some MMA going on Saturday. So we got some props already up on the board. MLB season props. I don't know if anybody is looking forward to the MLB season, but we already got home run props up. Things like that. So we can fill up this time, no doubt. No doubt. So anybody have a turd of the day that they want to put in the chat? Because I had some esports turds, but I don't really know them all that well. So it was just more of a, it wasn't a blind play, but esports is always a little volatile to me, at least when I play it. So I don't want to really call them turds, but those were the main plays that didn't hit for me over the weekend. A couple of college basketball plays didn't hit. College basketball is way different. They're not playing full 48 minutes. The minutes are different. The talent level is different in college, where you see massive blowouts. So yeah, a couple turds, but nothing too major. What about y'all? Anything popping out to y'all with your turds? Richie says, I am Richie Ricardo. I'm off work until 11 p.m. Stayed alive for 6 days in price. Oh, man. Sorry to hear that. Carrie said, I bet on NHL esports, but LeBron sold me last night. LeBron got the... Oh, nice. Congrats. 200. LeBron got the reboot, right? Turd of the day, LeBron. Yeah, I heard before the game that he wasn't... Just... hearsay heard that he wasn't going to get a full run of minutes. It's an all-star game. I also heard the same thing about AD, that they weren't going to get full minutes. I don't know how accurate that is. And they didn't really have huge games. I mean, who saw the 50-point game from Karl Anthony Towns coming? Dame pops off. Halliburton pops off. Curry was popping off in the first half. They didn't do a whole lot in the second half. I mean, the All-Star game is one of these things where you have I don't know how many, is it 12, 15 on the roster? And each one of them is going to get playing time. Even if it's 3-4 minutes of playing time, everyone gets to play. Everyone gets a participation trophy. So it's not like we can project those minutes like we can in the game. But the great news is if you have Tyrese Halliburton playing in an All-Star game popping off like that, he should absolutely have no restrictions, no limitations coming back into the season. So he looked great. He looked fantastic. What is good, Damien? Good morning to you. Maxey only 10 points. Maxey was coming off the bench. You had Curry coming off the bench. You had Kawhi Leonard coming off the bench. You had a lot of big names coming off the bench. You know, that's the All-Star game. Turd of the day, Beasley, for being the only shooter to not hit over 20 points in the first round. Oh, what's going on, Mel? Good morning. Yo, yeah. The 3-point contest was fun. Like, yeah, everybody hit except for him. I saw something about Ruben said, I went 3 for 5 on NHL, surprised myself. It does feel good when you play a sport that you're not typically used to playing and then you actually profit. You're like, oh shit. It was nice little surprise there. Big Icy, good morning. Good morning to you all. All right. So I figured we can start this off. We already talked about some turds. Always makes me laugh when I say that. Not a whole lot going on over the weekend, you know? So yeah, it feels like LeBron is a unanimous turd. Maybe some Beasley in there as well, just because of his lack of shooting in the first round. But there, you know, again, not a whole lot to break down. So let's just move on in. So let's talk some plays for today. I figure we start off with some season 2 plays because that's been on the board. We only got a couple more days to play those. If we can scroll through the board and see what value we like. And we got the Jokic promo play as well. So let's transition on over to PrizePicks. Pull up that board real quick. And just see what we got going on here. So I was looking at the baseball props up right now. These are obviously going to be the best lines we get for home runs. I don't see these dropping unless some significant news comes out that one of these dudes is battling an injury or they're going to be missing some time due to PED violation or some shit like that. Shohei in LA now, no longer an Angel. He's a Dodger. So you have a lot of home run props that are under 40, which would look really, really appealing. So there's a lot here to dig into, but we got about a month out. A little over a month out from the start of the MLB season. We got time to talk about MLB. Let's talk about NHL. Let's talk about NBA today. So I got some season 2 props up on the board. You got the Jokic promo right there. So again, if you haven't played this Jokic promo, I hope you haven't, unless you just had a really, really good beat on some esports or soccer or PGA and you already pretty much cashed this out. But the value is so limited on the board, at least over the weekend. I felt it was pretty limited. I'm just gonna wait until we get a little closer to the start of the second half and see if some value pops up. So we got this going on. We got Taco Tuesday tomorrow. Taco Tuesday plays will more than likely be esports and NHL. Maybe it would be really cool if they gave us a taco for Thursday, like the third taco would be for Thursday. That would be pretty cool. Kerry Young said, NHL is good to bet on, I would say. I was paying a little bit more attention to it yesterday because there's nothing else to like box score watch. And just learning some of these dudes' names, the time on ice. It's like, a lot of similarities between, NBA and NHL in terms of the props. Minutes played isn't a stat that you can bet on in the NBA, but in the NHL, it's called time on ice. And so that's also something you can actually research. The assist, shots on goal, all these things, getting used to the terminology over the weekend. So I feel a little bit better about it, but but I'm not like an expert by any means. So always nice to increase your knowledge over sports. Cutler says still a 7-man bang. You got a 7-man on, what was that, parlay play? 7-man on parlay play does up to 7, right? Explain that esports stuff. I can't really explain it because I'm not like the person to ask. I understand it, but there's so many variations of esports when you talk about Valorant, CSGO, League of Legends, CS2, Call of Duty. There's so many variations, headshots and kills, maps and things like that. I'm sure there's somebody in the chat that has a bit more knowledge over esports, but that's a way different ballgame. If I see some value, I can just look at different lines on different pick'em sites and find discrepancies. That's a really good place to start for your research. But I would not be able to tell you, 5-game streaks, 10-game streaks of X amount of headshots per map and all that stuff. What's going on, Shy? Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, you really got to look up YouTube videos on esports. There's a lot out there on that for sure. Yeah. But just like anything else, esports is volatile. So yeah, research is necessary. Divine, what is going on? Worst all-star game ever. Lost $100. Done betting for a little. I'm a chill, maybe 2-3 slips, $10 slips on Thursday. Big Icy says 1337 Pro and esports apps. So there you go, Ruben. Couple of esports references for you. Resources. They got them fresh legs. Betting them more lines on these youngins is money. All right. So yeah, we can start season 2. We can start with college basketball. Where do y'all want to start this stream today? Cutler says his turd of the day was Dabble app only because I would have had an 8-man. Oh, okay. Now I understand. You said 7-man. Got you. I didn't see that before. I didn't see that first part. All right, let's start with some college basketball. College basketball play. So when we were talking about college basketball on Friday, a couple names that popped up, Supreme Cook and the Vonleh pick, right? Vonleh goes over. Woof, that was a little tilting. She got it in the fourth quarter. I don't know if she got it on free throws, but she was at like 6 for like the entire second half of the game. And then gets the 12. And then it was less than a minute left, I think. And she got 14. So I think they were free throws. And then Supreme Cook, his line got bumped up to 11.5. He didn't even get 10 points in that game. But I took the over on his PRA. Once his points got bumped up, I just went with his PRA because it was still at the opening line. So he cashed PRA, but he didn't cash points, which is kind of odd. You would think that they all kind of correlate, but that's a great example of a player who can get it done with assists and rebounds and not necessarily need the points. So those are some pretty good reads we had on Friday, and we just kind of did that on the fly. We needed something to dig into aside from NBA. So if you played those, or if you looked in those player props, you probably did pretty well on Friday with your slips. See, Maxey, no points after half. Turd. Yeah, it's the all-star game. Coaches ain't trying to get like minutes. They're just trying to get everybody in there, and that's it. They're just like, think these guys are probably looking to play. If you're not a starter, probably not going to play more than 12 minutes, 13 minutes, something like that. But you can get a lot done in 12 minutes. The way they were just shooting from half court and shit, you can rack up a lot. I mean, Halliburton scored 15 points in a minute and a half. That's crazy. Craziness. Yeah, Georgetown kind of got beat up a little bit in that game. They were down by, well, I know they were down by double digits. I don't know what they lost by. All right. I see this Max Abmas. I don't know why when I saw that, I saw Max Obama. I was like, damn, that's a name. We got Max Abmas over 3.5 rebounds. There was another one up here. I can't find where it was. Let me scroll up a little bit because I want to make sure that I don't miss this prop. Or maybe I'm seeing things. Maybe I'm seeing things. It was ATM. What did you post in the chat, ATM? Mitchell. Okay, so this wasn't a college basketball, but you have Mitchell over assist or Barrett RA, and that's for Thursday, right? So that was the first. Donovan Mitchell's assists should be at 5.5. They should not be any higher unless they got. So this is, I think this is a good line for Mitchell. Versus Orlando, and then you got, is it 9.5? He doesn't always hit his RA, but he hits it a lot. And anytime you get it under 10, that's a very good start. This will get bumped up to 10. Donovan Mitchell's will get bumped up to 6. Okay, now we can scroll back down. Now we can scroll back down. We got Reese Beekman over 24.5 PRA. All right. College basketball definitely does not sleep. There are games being played at like 11 p.m. It's like college football. All day Saturday, college football. You get the early start times, the prime 11 a.m., 2:30 p.m. games, right? And then you got the them WAC Mountain West Athletic Conference, and then you have the Pac-10, soon to be Pac-12, or is it already Pac-12? You got those games starting at like 11:30 p.m. and shit because it's like 3 o'clock in Hawaii. Those are awesome games to watch. It's all day college football. All right. We got Curtis Jones. I see that from 6-0. Max Obama. Yeah. I don't know why I saw that, man. I'm like, dude, did he change his name? Though we got some names in college basketball. We got Supreme Cook. Is it Dontrez Styles? Dude, those names sound fake. Hunter Cater. Spelled it wrong. There you go. Over 13 points. All right. Curtis Jones. Spell that with a Z. Why did I do that? Curtis Jones over 10.5. We're at 6 already. All right, we're filling this up. Encore said, dude, you watched. So I watched the last 5 minutes of these NHL games and placed your over. Hit 3 for 3. They gave me 2 goals for 5 minutes. That's money. My strategy worked each time. So you watched 5 minutes of these, the last 5 minutes of these NHL games. Are you betting on underdog, or are you placing in game bets? Is that underdog? I tell you what. Let's look at these college basketball props first, and then I see the Franz Wagner play a big icy. So we'll come back and then if we can get a few more NBA player props for Thursday, we'll make a second round. But I want to knock these college basketball props out because they're today. So we got these rebounds for Admis. We got Reese Beekman, Hunter Cater, Curtis Jones. All right. I'm going to be all over the place today with these player props. All right. We're going to head over to props.cash. Props.cash is one of my affiliates. So any interest in using props.cash for your own researching purposes, do it. Do it with my promo code THANKS25. Save 25% off your first month. And as I always say, if you don't like it after the first month, just cancel it. No hard feelings. But at least you tried it out and you didn't do it at full price. So kind of a win-win. All right, let's talk basketball. Let's start. I don't even know who to start with. Let's start with the first one on the slip, and that's Admis rebounds. So we only have 4 games on the schedule today, which is kind of cool because it'll be easier just to search players. And let's just scroll down to projections. He has no projection for today for some reason, but let's take a look at his rebound props over his last 10 games. He's gone over this in 60%, 80% of his last 5. He's averaging 4.4 rebounds over his last 5, and basically 4 if you round this up to 4 from 3.5. So his game logs look fine. His odds are really good. A little juice coming in to the under, but more juice coming into the over. So this one looks like a very good play. I wouldn't be surprised if this one got bumped up to 4. If you're looking at other places, you have DraftKings minus 135. You have Consensus. That's a pick. That's a book. Okay, 137, and BetMGM is giving you 135. So seems like a lot of juice is coming into the over. So this is a good one to start with at 3.5 rebounds for max. Let's go into who are they playing? K-State. Do we have any K-State props from the board? No. All right. So we have Virginia Tech, UVA. We got Houston and Iowa State. So let's move into Virginia Tech and VA. We got Reese Beekman, and I think we're looking at his PRA. So PRA is at 24.5. You got 4 straight games of 27 or more, 4 out of 5 and 6 out of 10. He's basically he's almost averaging 27 across the board, but 26 over his last 10, 27 over his last 5. Are you interested in what he's done against Vatech? 0 for 5, including one game this year where he hooked. So he hooked this line, but we don't know what that line was back in January. It's very possible that he went over that line, but for tonight's game, he hooked it based off those numbers. He is projected for 25.42. So he is projected to get the over. You're getting favorable odds to the over. There's really not a whole lot to dislike unless you're going to put a lot of stock into his game logs versus this team. I mean, you're going back to like 2 years ago. So recent games, back-to-back games of hooks. He could have very well hit these overs. Now, I don't know if you want to put Beekman and Admis in a power play as in a 2-pick, but those seem like pretty solid starts to a slip. We're seeing a lot of good data points here. All right, let's look at Hunter K2. I think we're looking at his points, 13.5. All right, so these odds are flipped. So we're not getting as favorable odds on this one. We could take a look at his last 10. Last 5? What's going on here? Sometimes this happens. It just gets stuck on the same game log. Don't know what's going on. We'll get there. For some reason, it's only pulling up the games versus Virginia. I don't know why. His projections right now looking at 9.42 on the 13.5 point line. If you want to take a look at some of these other odds, you got BetMGM giving you minus 130 to the under. Consensus also minus 130 to the under. 137 to the under. FanDuel, slightly better odds, but still little juice to the under. And then DraftKings. So you got 4 out of these 5 books giving you minus 130 or more to the under. This shit is pissing me off. Fucking my Wi-Fi, I don't know what's going on. I'm always going to blame my Wi-Fi because I don't believe AT&T is that great. And the only reason I have AT&T is because when I moved to Austin from Boston and I looked to transfer my Comcast account because Comcast is the best. I've never had any issues with them. I love that company. They always did right by me. The part of Austin I moved into didn't work with Comcast. So now they're like, it's like gangs and shit over here. It's like, nah, we represent AT&T, son. Comcast, that's that South Side Austin shit. So I had to like convert. I had to convert to Comcast, to AT&T. And as you can see, I'm a huge fan of AT&T. There we go. So Hunter, over his last 10 games, how difficult was that? Over his last 10, he's averaging 14. Over his last 5, he's averaging 17 points. So I definitely see why we like the over on this one, but according to the odds, for some reason, is picking the under on this one. Against Virginia, he has not gone over 13.5 points over his last 5 games. Odds remain the same. Projections remain the same. So I don't really know. You know, if this was an NBA prop, there's no difference between these odds for NBA and college. It's just looking at the data and making a decision on whether or not you either want to roll with it or go against it. But you have all the information right here, 5 games, 10 games, current odds, current projections right here. And then you have fellow books picking the under. The Nets have fired coach Jacques Vaughn. Just saw that come through. That's interesting. I wonder who will pick Jacques Vaughn up as an assistant. Because there are no vacancies right now in the NBA, so he's gonna latch on somewhere. All right, so that's Couture. Curtis Jones, 10.5 points. Next game. All right, Jesus. So Curtis Jones. These are weird odds. Minus 130 to both sides. I've never seen it that high to both sides. Basically projected for 8 points, which is pretty low. We've seen some really low projections for these dudes over his last 5. So he's 100% over his last 5 games, 80 over his last 10 versus Houston. There are no games to look at here, so I'm not really sure why these odds are this and why the projections are so low. But if you're game log watching, you definitely like this one. Feels like there's more to it than just what we're seeing here, because if this is what it is, right? Like he's done this. These odds should be favored a little bit more to the over, I would think. Other books have this at minus 130 to the under on consensus, minus 130 to the under on DraftKings, and BetMGM is the one that has this like at a coin flip. But what do y'all think about this Curtis Jones prop? All right, we're getting some love for Cam Carter over rebounds. Four and a half. Probably would be easier if I just searched his name. So, okay. So his rebound prop is at 4.5. He got 3 straight games of 6 or more. 80% in his last 5, 50 over his last 10. Projections look very strong across the board. His PRA is 20.5. He's projected for more than that right here. These are all the rest of his lines. Points. Rebounds look very good though, because he's projected for 4.5. He's projected for 6, which is almost that's basically 1.5 more than what his line has here. His head-to-head games versus Texas, no games this season to speak of, but last year, 8 rebounds and then a complete drop off to 1. That looks pretty solid too. His rebounds. Marcus, what's going on? BetNaz Dad. Oh, BetNaz Dad looking ass. What's up, man? Marcus had a great weekend in Discord. He hit big on the, believe it was the three-point contest, maybe the dunk. It was a little bit of everything. I was able to tell a couple of those. I missed out on a lot because I was just in and out of the Discord, but Marcus had a huge weekend. Congrats to you. Congrats to him. Very generous with his slips, sharing them with the Discord. And so if you tailed any of those plays, then they hit for him, so they had to have hit for you. So that was pretty dope. All right. We got Carter out the way. All right. Let's transition over to NBA. Don't be afraid to throw some season 2 plays in there also. If you see something on the board that you like outside of that Jokic promo, season 2 player props, those are a little tougher. Those are a little volatile because we never know down the stretch like how this is going to play out. I think focusing on players who are on contenders who are either going to make the play-in or playoffs, players who are getting their minutes, players that won't get benched halfway, 5 games left in the season kind of thing. So looking for situations like that, because that's going to optimize upside. All right, let's start with this Franz Wagner play. I believe it was at where the fuck is it? I just saw it. Minus 140 odds. There it is, 22.5. All right. 22.5 PA. Last couple games, ending the first half of the season, Franz really, I felt like he hit a little bit of a snag. And we didn't see the production from him with, I think it was points and rebounds. Yeah. I think his points and rebounds were upwards of 27, 28. So he definitely was coming in way under that. But now we're looking at his points and assists. So 22.5 right now. Pretty much flat odds in my opinion, because you're not getting a ton of juice to the over. Almost identical juice to the under. So I think as the longer this is up, I think we'll start to see these odds shift in favor of the over. It is not the best matchup on paper, but we talk about games are played on the court, not paper. So even though this matchup is tough on paper, he's gone over this in 2 out of his 3 games this season versus the Cavs. So we can just ignore the whole Cleveland is like they're gonna shut people down and dominate the game. Franz plays them well, plays pretty much everybody well. Over his last 10, 70% hit rate. Over his last 5, 60s, averaging 28 over each of those time frames. If you want to take a look at his projections, projected for 25, 27, and 31. These are his PA, PR, PRA. I think all this looks good. I do think that as we get closer to Thursday, the more money that's out there circulating, the more we see these odds shift. It's not going to be this going into Thursday. I'm sure this will bump and these odds will change. So if you like this now, I don't believe it's going to get lower unless it comes out that he's limited for some weird reason. I think this either gets bumped or just stays the same. So in the same game, we also had the Donovan Mitchell assist. All right. So assist props for Donovan Mitchell are at 5.5. This is getting extremely juiced to the over, -138 to the over here. 3 straight games of 6 or more. He's gone over in 70% of his last 10, 60 over his last 5. He is projected for 6, which is fair. Anytime his odds are at like 4.5, or anytime his lines are at 4.5, 5, he's always projected for like 6-ish. But I love it at 4.5 because he can get you, or excuse me, I love it at 5.5 because he can land right on 6 and get it done for you. Once it gets bumped up to 6, then you need him to get you 7. I'm looking at his rebounds. I'm sorry, guys. I was looking at his rebounds here instead of his assists, but it's still 6. I was looking at this. So yeah, 5.5. He's projected for 6.6, but still the same logic. At 5.5, he needs 6. He can get you that. At 6, he needs 7. It's just a little tougher. That 1 assist is everything. Seriously, it's everything. It's a significant bump. But while it's at 5.5, you're getting good odds. You're getting good game logs here. You're getting pretty decent head-to-head matchups here in 2 out of his 3 games. He has gone over this line with 6 and 13. He's averaging 7, a little over 7 in these 3 games. 19, 22, 22 divided by 3 is 7 point something, 7.4. So that's a pretty good play for Mitchell. It would be some shit as we're talking about this. These lines start the bump for Thursday. We typically see it the day of when we're talking player props, lines bump. But 3 days out, 4 days out, lines should not be bumping today. All right, so we wanted to take a look at the RJ Barrett prop, but unfortunately there are no Knicks and 76ers props on the board right now in props.cash. In fact, we got quite a few games. Are all these games being played on Thursday, or this is like Friday and Thursday? Let's look. I'm going to look real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Right here. So this is the last game for Thursday. So then these other games down here are for Friday. Okay. Yeah, so we'll move on from the RJ Barrett play because unfortunately that's no props for those 2 teams are up. I don't know if that, well, Embiid's still out, right? Embiid's out. He's going to miss a few more weeks. Did I say Knicks and 76? I meant Raptors. And so let's look at this game. Sorry. I'm over here looking at the Knicks and 76ers because I still think of RJ Barrett as a damn Knick. So he's a Raptor. Those props are up. Forget everything I just said. All right, let's take a look at it. So 9.5 is his line. He has not gone over this against Brooklyn over his last 5, and that is one game this season. But I believe this game was as a New York Knick. You got Randall and Brunson and a lot of other guys kind of eating into those rebounds and assists. But over his last 10 games as a Raptor, this looks a lot different. So at least the last 6, 7 of these games were as a Raptor, if not all of them. 80% hit rate in that time frame, 10% hit, or 60% over his last 5. He's averaging exactly 10 across the board. So no matter where you slice this, it's still 10. His projection for this game is 9.79, which is closer to 10 than it is to 9. So that's in favor of the over. I would love to see this be like 125 to 101 or 100 flat, but you're still getting favorable odds to the over. I think this will shift at some point, but for now, this is a pretty strong line. And again, anytime we can get his line under 10, I think it's worth looking at. So I like it. Matchup against the Brooklyn Dodgers. Who the hell's coaching the Nets if Jacques Vaughn got let go? Man, they cannot. Okay, so they fire Kenny Atkinson. Then they fire Steve Nash, who was terrible. Then they fire Jacques Vaughn. So that's 3 head coaches in the last 4 seasons that they've let go. That is a lot of turnover, man. That's a lot of turnover. That's more turnover than a telemarketing agency. Jesus. So maybe they play better. Maybe they play better without him. But RJ Barrett, he's in a good spot for the over on this one. Despite his game logs versus this team, this is what he's done as a Raptor. All right. Now we got them all done. So over Abmas, over Mitchell, over Barrett. We looked at Beekman. We like the over on that one. This was the one I'm not too sure on because of the way those odds looked. And the projections were looking really bad on this Couture. And then also this Curtis Jones line was not getting a lot of love in terms of odds or projections. So again, if you like the game logs over the odds and the projections, then you like the over on this one. If you are just looking at the odds and projections and are going to side with that, then the under makes more sense. So kind of have a decision to make. The other ones were a little bit more clear cut. We had a lot more data to go with in terms of the overs here. So I guess I'll screenshot these, even though we can't play these props today, the NBA props. I mean, if you think they're good value, you want to lock them in, locking them in on a Monday. It's like Super Bowl picks, right? You have all that time, and as you got closer to game, they started bumping. So if you got the Super Bowl picks in early, then you locked in some pretty good lines. All right. We'll clear this out. So we got Cam Carter in there also. I guess Quum. What the fuck was that? Cam Carter. So we looked at his rebounds already. We didn't have him on the board, but we just looked at him while we were looking at college props. We got Jamal Sheed in there. You like the over on his points. We'll take a look at those. Franz, we looked at. Big Icy wants to take a look at. Big Icy said it's PrizePicks. They might bump. Yeah, you never know, man. He plays for Raptors. I know. I'm over here looking at the Knicks and 76ers and shit. We got it right, though. We got it right. So Kerry Young likes the college, likes the Hunter over 13 points. So seems like the over is still in favor here in the chat for him, even though we weren't seeing the best odds in the projections. His game logs look pretty damn good though. If you saw that, there's a lot of green going on for him. All right, NBA. Where are you? Got Mobley over his rebounds at 9.5. Got Franz in there, Carey. Yeah, we like the over on Franz. Jaylen Brown over points. Does anybody have any insights on the dunk contest? I felt like I'm a Celtics fan, all right? So I just root for the Celtics. Whatever they do, I'll root for them. I got to be honest with you though. The Jaylen Brown dunks were a little lack. I didn't really think. The one thing I will say about Jaylen Brown is he dunks with power. I can't think of another person at his position in the NBA who dunks with more power. I mean, obviously you got guys like Giannis, who are just bigger and stronger, who dunk with more force. But for him, he dunks so damn hard. And so when he dunks and he hits it, it sounds amazing. Like it just echoes, right? But the creativity was a little lacking. Like I love the showman with the glove and the jersey. All that's fun, but like Max McClung still had the more creative, more athletic dunks. I was a little disappointed that Jaylen Brown didn't have. He just didn't have, I don't know. He just didn't bring it. I don't think he got robbed on his scores. I think they scored him a little higher than they should have on some of those dunks. I can't remember if it was the end of the first round. There was a McClung dunk where I thought it was a 50, and the judges gave him like a 48 or some weird shit like that. It was weird. They definitely weren't feeling him. I don't know, because he's a G leaguer. Maybe there's lack of respect. Maybe he's looked at as like a carnival sideshow where like they only bring him up for like the tickets and the money, and then they throw him back down in the G League. I don't know. I don't know why he's not in the NBA. He has to be good at something if he's like on that level. But maybe, I don't know. Maybe people don't want to take a chance on that guy. So KP threes are not on the board right now. We got his turnovers and blocks, so we'll have to wait on those. We could take a look at Draymond. Draymond threes are not on the board either, so have to hold off on those. We do have an NHL prop in here. It is Guro over 0.5 points. Oh man, I'm not gonna scroll all the way down and look for this dude. His shit's not on the board, so we can't even look at his points ATM. So a lot of these players are not on PrizePicks. Where are you seeing them? Are they on Underdog or are you playing them on a book? All right. Appreciate y'all being here. We got 20 people on the stream. Appreciate y'all being here. I know it's a holiday. Many of you are off work, so appreciate you spending a few minutes of your day hanging out, talking player props, trying to get a head start on Thursday slates, looking at some college basketball as well. Cutler says, JT Toppin, I am a Miami guy, but Jaime Jaquez, then Jaylen Brown cringe ass dunks. One where he tries to blind. Oh, that was so bad. I did not get that dunk. I don't know why Jason Tatum was out there. You don't need Jason Tatum out there. At least Mac McClung was dunking over Shaq, who's like 3 times his height. You got Jason Tatum out there. It's like, just why can't these guys just bring out like an object? Like Blake Griffin dunking over a Kia. Roll out a Range Rover. Dunk over a Range Rover. They're like the same height, right? The whole like Jason Tatum being out there and then the the influencer, I forgot the kid's name. He got signed by Nike. It just was like very dramatic, and it didn't deliver. It's like a lot of hype. It's like, oh, come to this party. Oh, it's off the hook, and you get there, and it's just like a bunch of dudes standing around smoking cigarettes. Like, what a bullshit party that is. That's what I feel like with that dunk. And then he didn't even do the D Brown. He didn't do anything. So it was pretty bad. I agree. I also feel like the dunk contest is at the mercy of whoever is left, right? Because you're not going to get the big names. You're going to see better dunks from the big names in actual games than you are in the dunk contest. So you got these rookies, you got these second-year guys who are trying to make a name for themselves. Maybe they're trying to get a little extra money, but it's just not what it used to be. It's definitely not what it used to be. And the NBA can't force these guys to play to participate. So you're not going to get the biggest names in there. I will say that, like Mac McClung is, at least the last 2 years, he's made it watchable. There have been a few years prior to that were just awful, like worse than what we saw on Saturday. So at least there's some progress going on with that. Cutler says that I forgot who, but they mentioned, how do we go from dunking over Taco Fall to Kai Sinnott. Is that how you say his name? Yeah, he's little too. He's short, right? I ain't gonna lie. When he walked out there, I thought at first it was Lil Wayne because he's little. That guy's small, so I was like, "Is that Lil Wayne?" Then there was no ink on his face, so I was like, "Nope, that's not. Who the hell is that?" And I literally just saw an article about that guy getting signed by Nike, so I said, "Oh, that's him," and he's sitting down. Come on, man. Come on. It was just weak. It was weak. Like, if you're gonna put on like a jersey and like if you're gonna wear like a wardrobe to dunk, I think you gotta come with a better dunk than that. And on top of that, he was getting booed. Jaylen Brown was getting booed by the crowd, so he just didn't have the best nights. Maybe it was in his contract. Like, he signed that max deal, and maybe one of the steps was you have to participate in an all-star event or something like that. I'm sure like these guys aren't chomping at the bit to go dunk. They're making so much money. I don't know. I feel like the competitiveness is not there anymore. With like the free, like just the like the exhibition type stuff, right? You're not trying very hard. All right, let's see. Let's start with who did we have? Mobley. Let's take a look at Mobley's rebounds. I would love to see Ja. It was a tribute for College Player Diet. Yeah. No, I don't have anything against that. I'm just saying, like, if you're going to put the guy's jersey on, you need to dunk. You need to come with a better dunk than that. I know who that was. I knew what he was doing. He was paying tribute, but the dunk was bad. Just because you put a jersey on, like, the judges are going to increase your score. Like, that's not what it's about. He just didn't have a good dunk. Pretty sure Ja hinted he being the next one. That'd be fun. Anthony Edwards and John Morant. That's what it feels like sometimes. I mean, I thought it was cool that he put the glove on his left hand because he can't go left, and I guess that was like his way of addressing that. But I mean, that was kind of cool because it played into something that it played into one of his criticisms. I thought that was pretty cool, but his dunks just weren't better than McClung's. I didn't even get to see Toppin's dunks. I didn't turn it on until... Did I see one of his dunks? Oh, I did see one of his dunks. I saw his last dunk of the first round. I didn't see his very first dunk, though. Let's see. Evan Mobley, 9.5 rebounds. Minus 122 to the over, minus 104 to the under. He's gone over in 60% of his last 5, 50 over his last 10. He's averaging 10 over his last 5. So his last 5 look a lot better than his last 10. I mean, he's healthy now. He's off, coming off injury. He missed time, but he's back. I mean, he's been back for a while, but, you know, hopefully with the All-Star break, a lot of these guys probably just needed a break, needed a little extra rest, especially if they were just dealing with some lingering stuff. He is projected for 10 rebounds, so that is right where you want it. The odds are in favor of the over, so you're getting that as well. Other books do have this in favor of the over. DraftKings has this at minus 140 to the over. His head-to-head games, 1 out of his last 4. But this season, he only has 1 game versus the Magic. He went for 5 boards. All right. What else? All his other projections are pretty much green except for RA and assist. PR is also something that we look at for him. 23.5 is his line. 80% over his last 5 and 60 over his last 10. So that might be also in play. If you like his rebounds, you can look to his rebounds and points. Points alone aren't pulling in as positive odds, so I like the rebounds and the and the points for sure. All right. Who else do we have here? Got Jaylen Brown points. Jaylen Brown points, 19.5. All right, what else we got? So we're seeing his points at 20.5 in certain places. Those FanDuel has it at 20.5, but DraftKings and BetMGM both have this at 19.5. Minus 130 to the over and minus 145 on DraftKings at 19.5. So you're getting really different lines compared to FanDuel. Head-to-head games with Chicago, he's gone over this 60% of the time. Put 30 on him back in November. His last 5 games, he has gone over this line just 1 time. And then over his last 10, he's gone over this 4 times. All right. Projections right at 19. So projections have it lower than the line, but the odds here are really in favor of that over. So that's one to consider, no doubt. All right, let's see what else. Jrue Holiday over turnovers. This is in the same game. So let's take a look at Jrue Holiday's turnovers. Minus 120 to the under, 110 to the over. 3 out of 5 games. But in those 5 games, even though he didn't get you any turnovers here, still averaging 1.4 because he's turning the ball over multiple times. And over his last 10, he's basically averaging 2 over his last 10. Projection for this game is right under 1.5. So it's not the greatest projection. In terms of other odds, there aren't any. So the only odds that I'm seeing are BetMGM with slight juice to the under. Head-to-head games versus Chicago. Damn. But these two, the only game as a Celtic is the last one on the 28th. These 3 are as a buck. That's a lot of turnovers for Jrue Holiday. Damn. I wonder if Giannis was hurt that game and he just handled the ball a lot more. But 3 turnovers will get it done. All right. What else? Jakob Poeltl over 11.5 rebounds and assists. All right, 2 out of 3 games. He's gone over this. 1 game this season, had 13 against the Nets. Over his last 10, he's averaging 11.4, so it's right under. It's either way over or not even close in a lot of these games. Over his last 5, he is bringing in a win 60% of the time. Projected for 10.6. So he's projected for roughly 11. And then his odds on other books, you have it at -110 to the over on BetMGM, -125 on DraftKings, and you see it -111 on FanDuel. So DraftKings is offering you the best odds here. I don't know if this one gets bumped up or not, but while it's at 11.5, it's probably going to be the best line that we see. I can't see this getting any lower. I feel like people would be looking at the over, so if anything, it could bump. All right. Who else we have in the chat? Sixo says Shane Pinto over 2 shots on goals. Got another NHL prop in here. All right, hopefully this one's on here. Sometimes PrizePicks does not list them all. All right, so we do have them on PrizePicks. Let's hop on over to props.cash and look at some NHL lines. All right, so this one's sitting at 2.5 on pretty much every single book. So did it get bumped down from 2.5 to 2? I don't know if it got bumped up from 1.5 to 2 because no other book has it at 1.5. So did this get bumped down to 2? So if we bump it down to 2, it does change his hit rate because it goes from a 60% hit rate over his last 10 to basically a 60% hit rate over his last 8, which is a much higher percentage. Same thing with his last 5. So, well, actually it doesn't mess with the last 5. So he's gone over this without that drop in 4 out of 5 games. Think this one's good, especially that it's at a lower line. So again, I don't know if this got dropped down from 2.5 or it's going to get bumped up to 2.5, but it's at 2, which is different than the other books, and you're getting better odds. Game logs look strong. All right, what's going on, Ali? What is going on? Welcome back. Anybody posts anybody want to talk about the skills challenge, hometown winning 3 years in a row, and the other teams taking a dive? I missed that. I missed a lot of the all-star stuff. To be honest with you, I did catch the dunk contest. I missed the Curry and Ionescu shoot off. Missed the skill challenge. I missed the 3-point. I missed a lot. I really did. I did not really make it a huge priority, but I always try to tune into the dunk contest. Just even though the names aren't there, I feel like you never know when something's gonna go viral. Like just that one dunk. So I was hoping for that one dunk this season, but this year. But yeah, I saw that the Pacers swept it pretty much. Cutler says Cam Carter over 1.5. I like them. I like them chuckers. So you like him over his threes as well? Let's see if it's on PrizePicks. We got 5 in there. All right. So yeah, he is in there. We could take a look at his threes. Switching back over to NCAA men's. Kansas State. All right, so slight juice to the under on this one. Gone over in 70 of his last 10 head-to-head games with the Longhorns. No games this season to look at, but 1 for 1 or 1 for 2 against them last year. He is projected for a slight over 1.54. So that is barely over that 1.5 line. So this one's kind of sitting right in the middle. And so the projections do match what the odds are telling us. These are kind of like flat. A little more juice to the under, but they're pretty close together. And that matches what the projections show us. So it's kind of like flat as well. But we can take a look at, let's get out of this game log versus the Longhorns. Let's take a look at so over his last 10 games, he has averaged 5 3-point attempts per game. Except for that game against TCU, he's giving you 4 or more 3-point attempts. So that was the only game where he didn't give you at least 4. So if he's giving you 4 or more, he's a 34%. These games are really bringing his average down. But like if you look at these games where he is shooting, lighting it up, he's well over 40% in all these games. Well over 40%. Might be even closer to 50%. These 0-0-0s really bring his average down. So if he's shooting 4 times a game and he needs to be a 50% shooter from 3. And in a lot of these games, that's exactly what he's been. So that one does make sense. He didn't even did he even attempt this? Hold on. Let me just double check this. Okay, yeah, so he did attempt 5, 5, and 3. So he just missed all of them, which doesn't happen very often. So I feel like if he gives you 4, he's making 2. Gives you 6, he's making 3. Gives you 6, he's making 3. You see, it's basically 50% in all these games. So hopefully he makes, hopefully he takes at least 4 to 5 shots from 3 because seems like he'll make 50% of those. All right. Barnes shooting backwards, Boncaro bowling his passes and shooting lefty. They do it every year. Indy was an easy cash in that exhibition. Yeah. Plus 200 to send the crowd home happy. Yeah. It's smart, It's smart. It's smart. Especially when you factor in that, the All-Star game is a business. The NBA is a business. It's a money-making machine. You give the people what they want. They give you more of their money. So, like, how many jerseys did they sell? How many shirts with the name on the back that they sell? How many, whatever they're selling? How many beers that they sell? Oh, you want to see your hometown perform well? Your hometown team perform well? Oh, shit, I'm gonna go grab another beer. Oh, everybody likes watching sports when they're drunk. Seriously, it's a cash cow. So can you imagine the backlash if those guys didn't perform well or if they didn't light it up? I mean, even Halliburton coming out super hot in the first quarter. I mean, that can't be rigged because he has to actually make the shots. Like nobody's helping him make those shots. But the fact that he was just on fire like that, that helps. It's all about making money for the NBA. And Indiana made a lot of money that on the weekend. When you have an event like that, like the NCAA tournament being in Houston, like the Final Four championship being in Houston, like Houston cashed out. Any city that hosts any event like that cashes out. So Indiana made out well, but the NBA made a lot of money this weekend. Sixo says Mark Sheffield has Mark over 2 shots on goal. Looks good. Who does Mark Sheffield play for? Let's just search. Winnipeg. Over 2. So got bumped down from 2.5 to 2. So we saw the same thing with Pinto. Shots on goal, he's projected for 2.84. His average over these 4 games is basically 3. 4, 8, 4, 8, 11, 14 divided by 4 is roughly 3.6. So if it's on PrizePicks at 2, you're seeing it at a higher line on DraftKings, FanDuel, Caesars betting. Everyone has this at higher odds for the under. Its projection is projected for the over, and at 2 you offer push potential. So even if he only gets you 2, which he's done that before here. So that's pretty solid. That's pretty solid fine. Yeah. I mean, you think about all the money that goes into that, not just concessions, not just jerseys and shit like that, but hotels, restaurants, people renting cars, people, Airbnb, whatever. Like that is, yeah. And unlike the Olympics, after the All-Star game, like your city is still functioning well at a high level. It's in a better spot, So, and that's why they put in these high-ass bids to host these events, because whatever money they're putting in to attract that event, they'll make up for it. I mean, yeah, that's a great cash cow. All right, let me screenshot. So let me screenshot these. So got a little bit of a mixture between NCAA and NBA. Getting some NFL plays in there, or some NHL plays in there as well. Let's throw... Is it Mac? No. Who was it? What was the dude's name? I guess I could just... Hold on. Mark. So we looked at Mark Sheffield over his shots on goals. We looked at Cam Carter on props.cash, but we didn't pull him up on the board. Did we? Did we include him in that last one? Braden Point over 2.5 shots on goal. So we're starting to get some NHL plays in there. So this one is at the original line, right? So this one is not getting bumped down. It's It's at 2.5. Odds in favor of the over. He's gone over this line 60 in his last 5, 60 in his last 10, projected for 2.55. So he's projected for right around that line. You're not getting any crazy numbers here. Head to head with the Ottawa Senators. He's gone over this in 3 of the last 7 games. Last game being in November, he goes over with 5 shots on goal. Every game except this one, he's gotten you at least 2, so he's active. Yeah, the odds are pretty decent. Anywhere else, this line is going for 125, 139 on Caesars, 135 on FanDuel. So it seems like BetMGM is the only one that's giving you these flat odds. You got 3 books giving you 130 plus for the over. It's pretty strong. So we can add Braden Point also. Shots on goals at 2.5. Cutler says Steph takes home All-Star Weekend MVP next year. Lock it in. That's right. The game's in San Francisco next year. All right. Got quite a bit of plays in here. NHL, NBA, and NCAA. So feel like we're not really skipping a beat with these streams without the NBA. We're still talking NBA. We just can't play it today. Has anybody played the Jokic promo? Or does anybody have a pair for it that you already locked in or that you want to lock in? Carrie says, I have a Valorant. Is it Valorant? Play John QT under 31 maps, 1, 2 kills. Let's take a look. All right. And also what makes the esports research a little tougher is that you don't have the luxury of the last 5 games like you do for the other sports. So even if you know, like I always say, the last 5 games should not be the only research you do for player props, but it is a start and it gives you an idea. It just doesn't give you the full picture. But with esports, you don't even get that. So you really do need a resource that you rely on, whether that's a person, an expert, a website, an app, something to help you with these. Because if you don't have that, you're literally just guessing. And you might guess right a few times here and there, but you will lose your money very quickly just guessing on stuff. Jay Work, what is going on? Good morning to you. Says Angel over PRA women's college basketball. Angel Reese over her 34.5 PRA. So unfortunately, women's NCAA ball is not on PrizePicks, or excuse me, not on props.cash. So we can't look that up. That should be changing very soon. But Jay Work likes the over on Angel Reese's PRA today. 34.5. And just like that, we already got 5 in for another round of player props. So this is moving quickly. NHL, NCAA. This is a very, very diverse group here. NHL, men's college basketball, esports, women's college basketball. Yeah, that's dope. And just to make this an even 6, as if it needs to be promoted, but I'm going to throw Jokic in there just to make it an even 6, just so the screenshots have an even number. All right, so there it is. Damn. All right. Already an hour and a half in, and we've covered 18 player props by way of PrizePicks dashboard, but we've covered quite a few extra. When we head over to props.cash, we do look at a few extra for each player. So well over 20 player props covered in this time frame. Cutler's already putting in a play of the day. So we have, let me pull up my sheet here. So, okay, Friday's plays of the day. We have Volkanovski over 85.5 significant strikes. Do we know he went over that? Like I mentioned, it got bumped up, and I didn't touch it. I think it got up to 92. I didn't play it. Supreme, I know he did not go. He did not go over his points, but he did go over PRA, and Vonleh did go over the points. So if Volkanovski went over his significant strikes, then that's 2 for 3 on those. He got slept. Did he really? Damn. So 1 and 2 on those. MMA is so volatile. All right, we're starting new plays of the day today. So off the bat, I got Cutler in there. He likes the over. I didn't watch it, man. I need to go watch some highlights. He was favored in that fight, right? He was significantly favored in that fight. Chris C over 1.5 3-pointers made. Jamal Sheed over his 14.5 points. I like the Pinto play. The Shane Pinto over his, is it Shane? Shots on goal. We got quite a few NHL plays in there that they all look really good in terms of their odds, in terms of their game logs and projections. So be sure to check those out in the Discord, where I'll share those screenshots, and use those in slips if you want. I'm waiting on that email to see, like, I'm pretty sure I did win yesterday, so just want to make sure so I can get my $3 in promo funds. All right, so got a few plays of the day. I'll share those over in the Discord. Tomorrow's live stream, 9 a.m. If you stayed in the contest, it's just a free entry to win. Okay, gotcha. It's not promo funds. All right, gotcha. Tomorrow's live stream, 9 a.m. Probably cut it a little short, like today's live stream, hour and a half. That's a little short for us here. Typically run 2 hours Really, really looking to cut that down, and I'm thinking of ways how I can cut that down, but also still provide value on the stream. So I want to make sure that I'm not cutting the stream short and then also cutting out the value, because that's kind of pointless. But definitely looking to shave the time down a little bit. Even at an hour and a half, I think that's a great time and a lot can get covered. So working on ways to cut that down, but nonetheless, we'll be back tomorrow, 9 a.m. 9 a.m. start time for our live stream. If you've stuck around, appreciate you. If you're watching this at work, I appreciate you even more. Hit that sub button if you haven't done so already. Hit the thumbs up button if you haven't done so already. Drop a like. Chat is always engaged. Appreciate the engagement. Appreciate the positivity in the chat. And I don't know who you're playing today. I don't know what sport you're rolling with, but I hope they all cash and respect the damn coin. Again, be back tomorrow, 9 a.m. Tuesday, talking about our results from Monday. I'll do my best to put a slip or two into the Discord. A little bit more research goes into these slips without the NBA, digging a little bit more, but provide something in the Discord for you all. So make sure you are in there. Check out that content. And as always, if you have any questions about anything, you can hit me up in the Discord. We can chop it up there. See everybody tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. sharp for another Chavez player prop show. And I'll let the intro or the outro bump a little bit. Until then, Chavez is